Okay, what do we have here, Alan?
1942 WLC, 3-speed.
He's not here. Don't look at him.
Yeah.
3-speed. Come out of my bike. We got everything all
What shirt
straight.
we got today? Oh,
That's the one he normally wears.
Pile. That's the rag pile shirt.
It's the one I put on today. I haven't been wearing these lately.
Okay, so what year is this thing rebuilt?
42. Well, the bike came out of Canada. The bike was complete, but the transmission was in a basket. So someone in Florida put this transmission together. I rode it once. It seemed to shift okay.
Did it
But
have reverse on it?
No, but it had problems with the kicker covers broken. So initially we had a Sportster kick lever. Tatro found me the correct lever.
But the kicker,
That's a 45 lever
the kicker's
now.
supposed to go back this way.
Yeah.
All right.
That's a little soft.
The rod is bad on the clutch.
So maybe this is supposed to be in a different spot than where you got it.
Well, I just put it on, like I
See that
said.
notch down there?
Yeah.
There.
All right.
That's a little bit too much wrap on the spring. That will break
Yeah.
the spring.
Okay.
But
Wait.
it springs back pretty good though.
Yeah, but it's got too much rack, so it's got to have one to top.
Okay, so usually you have at least a quarter to a half a turn of wrap, but usually about a quarter is enough. And see on yours, a quarter's not quite going to make it. So it actually needs a half to get back up. See how it comes up almost all the way? But you got another full half on it. The other problem is this bolt right here with a nut and shaved head is not
That's stock,
correct
isn't it?
part. It was stock for something.
It was stock homemade.
No. He goes, no.
And this here
Isn't
is a long one, which they used on trikes, but this one here is probably homemade. They probably cut the end off and extended it because that doesn't look Harley on this side.
Okay.
The vice grip marks is dead
Or the
giveaway.
telltale?
Yeah. So the military one's only supposed to be this tall.
Oh, okay.
The other thing is somebody took a big file here, or a grinder, that's probably a grinder.
looks like
And
grinding.
it
to
looks
me.
like they ground off about a third of that stud for some reason.
They couldn't get the case on.
I'm not sure what the deal on that was all about.
Well, there again, that's why we come to Tatro Machine.
So overall, it's in excellent condition.
Well, but the sprocket looks okay. That side somebody's been in,
Now this nut here looks like it's been abused a little bit.
adjusted.
Now this is the early cover. See, that doesn't have the titties on it, so that's not big. It has lock tabs on it,
Okay.
so it makes it harder to adjust.
So early makes it what, 40, 42, huh?
Well, the 40s they did these lock tabs. Later on, they came out with the one that had the titties on
Oh,
it.
okay.
So the big twins had the same issue.
So do you recommend pulling that all apart?
Well, do you want to know what's inside?
Yes, sir, I do.
Well, then you have to take it apart.
That's all I was saying. Because I got it out of the bike by unbolting it.
You have a special tool for getting that off socket.
I do not.
Why not? Didn't it come with that toolkit you bought with the bike?
Came with nothing.
Came with nothing. Oh, that
No.
came with that toolkit.
No.
Okay, we need a washer here to collapse that. You need a chisel to knock those off.
Okay.
And you need a special nut to take the nut off in there.
Okay. That's what I was figuring.
You know what the washer's for, don't you? So you don't have to readjust the clutch every
right.
time.
Well, that keeps the spring pack all together.
Right, but it also keeps it about where it was.
Okay.
You know, so if you have to like to adjust these things all the
So
time.
there's your genuine Harley Davidson socket
Okay.
that you probably will never see again.
I'll be taking that. Rick and
And
I'll be
modified.
taking that home.
Dad modified it to work with modern tools instead of
Okay.
going like this.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm gonna take this home with all the other parts that I loaded up last
Well,
time.
that's what Tatro's
I'm
going to
missing the
say
parts.
after you
I figure
leave.
You got him.
Of course I got them. I don't know what I'm gonna do with them, but I got them.
Hold on to this for a minute, Mister.
No, I ain't
Come on,
no
just for a minute.
Here, Fred. Take control.
Fred's in charge.
Damn thing. You got big fat fingers over the damn light.
That's why I don't run camera.
Oh, the
Is
wire
it
or the
on?
lens? Well, Fred puts his on the lens.
I don't put mine on the lens.
You just did.
This
Are
is
we
for the
recording
drinking
this?
man.
No, I got it.
Well, Fred knows how to do this. That locks
broke
back.
that
So
one.
good.
You broke it.
I would
Save
recommend.
those locks. Those are original.
Yeah,
broke
but
it.
that one is that titty right there is now gone.
What? What'd you call that?
That's a titty. There, see? And the other one under here is already gone. So that one has no titties on it.
Gotcha.
No titties. Well, girls with no titties ain't no good.
So that's almost like a eunuch.
Come on, this is a family show, Rick.
Yeah, well, I get thrown off of videos all the time.
They-
This video is going to get tagged already. You didn't tag the last 3 videos we posted for some reason.
Well, because Rick and Fred and a few other people are in there to make comments.
Where's that racing Evo motor we built for you, Rick? Where's that racing motor you're working on?
I'm still sitting in the garage waiting to get back on to working on the bike.
It's sitting right next to the toilet.
No, it's sitting on the bench.
Okay, that holds the springs together.
Do you see how they? See how he did that? So quickly. Now he's and everything fall apart.
See how the springs don't fall off?
Yeah. Oh, look at that.
Appears to be an aftermarket Barnett clutch in here.
Look at that.
Minus titties.
How do you know it's
You forgot
Barnett?
something there.
Just look at the color.
It's green.
Oh, it's green.
aluminum.
Barnett's green.
Aluminum.
That's a half plate. Looks like it comes with goo on it.
Is it supposed to be wet?
No. And
Where's
once,
the lube coming
and
from?
once dry plates get wet, they don't like to work too good.
Okay.
See how they get all slimy?
Where do you think that oil came from?
I don't know, but see how the clutch doesn't work there? And
Yeah, I understand.
Somebody probably put it together thinking it was a wet clutch. Which a lot of people.
It appears they didn't clean the rust off this side of the spring, only the side you can see.
Okay.
So
Well, like I said, it was an
probably
after.
wouldn't hurt to. These aren't even the right springs. They look way too weak. They look rusty too, which means they're not too good. These are look like they're short though, so they got to be the right spring, but they just don't look right. But either way, they're full of goo. They look way too light.
Sorry, folks, I got a cough.
No,
I
I've
got
never
the
seen
flu
these
bug.
before. That's something new.
What are they?
Cup washers. I think these springs are out of some other application,
Well, see, they very could
DSA.
well be.
but I've never seen these before. It's the first time I've ever seen these.
This is Canadian.
Yeah, I've never worked on a Canadian. It's even got a gasket on it too to seal it.
Well, see, God only, know who knows.
So this
Canadian, eh? It's a Canadian,
A.
Transmission?
So this is for the this is the Queen's plan here.
This is what?
The Queen's plan.
The Queen. We have to have a parliamentary vote on this thing.
You've never seen those with those.
Fred missed that because he was filming here. Didn't see how I did that.
I did see that.
I'm glad it's you instead of me.
Okay, appears the screw's still good,
We got one piece so far.
except I don't recall them having a.
Hole in it?
That don't look right.
Yeah, that's not correct. This
No.
this looks like an aftermarket one that has a ball on the inside.
Yeah,
But the ball's missing.
Or is this a?
it ain't right.
Actually, the 45 might have a taper on this. I don't remember. I don't think that's. I don't know.
I don't remember holding it.
Patron, you don't remember.
It's been a couple weeks since I've worked on one.
Yeah, longer than that.
Okay, last week. Yeah, 45 has tapered push rods, but I don't remember it being tapered on here. I thought they were just flat like a big twin, but that might be correct. It's been too many years since I looked at original parts. So let's see how it gets all scratched up from all the debris that's been in there. See, that means,
Looks brand new,
that means it had
man.
chunks of crap in here causing all these grooves in here. Not sure what's up with that.
How many plates?
2.5. That's why I have problems on my military bike. I
2.5
got the
plates?
springs jacked almost all the way down. It still slips a little bit. I don't understand why they're all full of grooves already.
You didn't figure out a way to put a 3 to 5 plates in it?
No, they didn't. That's all they ran.
They put it together dirty, that's why there's grooves in.
What's up with
I
that?
found some of the grease.
So the clutch was junk.
How'd you get
It's
these
got some
bushes
kind
out?
of a tamer thing in here. So you pull the snap rings out. I haven't seen one of those on there either.
Lots of snap rings.
Yeah. Is that an aftermarket basket?
Well, big twins, they had that stuff. I've never seen one on a 45
I ain't
before.
either.
Well, we got about 3 of the world's
Me.
the world's
No, not me. I ain't a 40.
authorities on these, and It's all new.
Yeah, but that doesn't make it good.
Those are snap rings holding those in?
Yeah. Just a plastic thing on here.
You got a plastic thing?
This keeps the clutch from going in and out the basket.
Yeah.
It makes it work better, but on a foot clutch you don't need it because they release so far. You don't need it.
Should I go get a plastic bucket? This obviously is not going back together tonight.
Oh, is this supposed to be done today?
Well, I was going to put it in the bike. I got a race in the morning.
Oh, well,
What are you racing to? Too much
Oh no, something broke.
there you go. I figured it was going to have something like that in there.
It exploded.
Something
Oh,
broke.
no.
Oh, no. All the pins fell out.
This has the big fixed rollers.
Yeah, I haven't seen those in.
I figured that's what I was going to find when I opened this because
Well, I need to say it beforehand so that we'd actually know you knew that.
somebody had to have it in there. I figured there was something going on.
You did.
And I was right.
Okay.
Where would I get one of
I
those
didn't
plastic
expect that. I didn't
buckets,
expect the
you
big thick
That's what
roll.
that thing was holding in. Those bearings.
Yeah, well, I
I
didn't
forgot one of those
expect that.
clips. Forgot a clip.
There must
Where's
be
a
a clip.
plastic bucket?
I forgot a
Dean?
clip.
What? You need to clean stuff, not put it away.
Oh, I know what.
Right behind on the shelf there, behind the press.
Get one of the baskets first. So
Right
you can clean
there.
right
Right
here.
here.
Come this way.
Behind the press, on the shelf.
Get a basket first. Clean it first, and then we'll put it in the bucket. There you go.
God, now you got Fred learns well. He's yelling at me now.
Yeah, but see, I would get the pan because you have big items. They don't fit in the basket.
All right.
Now the small stuff will fit in the basket.
I'm not yelling at you. I'm just trying to get your
Believe
attention.
me, you ain't gonna get it right for a while.
Listen, Rick and I were in abusive relationships.
And that was before or after you got here.
That's
We
not
got
our fault.
abused when we got here.
That's not our fault, man.
Boy, you kidding. Tell me about it.
Now, Fred fell out of divorce club, but you two didn't.
Yeah.
No, I'm not
was in the
divorce
club for a while.
anymore. I'm a survivor.
Survivor.
So was Rick. You hear him smiling and laughing?
No, I'm just getting up for another round of another bitch.
Come on.
Sorry about that. Have to take that out.
Bleep, 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 bleep.
See, that's what happens. You get that camera on, you get me saying stuff. I
At least
shouldn't
it
be saying.
didn't. Say,
That's all right. Sleazy,
Something whole.
Sleazy will be happy.
Oh yeah, he'll love that.
He's English.
at least you didn't refer to most of the countries as crap holes. Although I've been to
Right. That's how all of those look in there, right?
No,
It's not really?
I don't see that many of them with the big bearings.
Really?
See what this is all, see how it's flaked out right here?
Yeah. Well, moisture's sitting in there forever.
No, that's a flake, not a pin.
Oh, so what's that from? They call that spalling, don't they?
I call that flaking on dirt. Now, I don't know what they did for honing on this because this thing's been buffed on.
Oh, too many cooks in the kitchen
See
now.
that right there?
Mm-hmm.
See, you make my clean. Look what he did to my clean towel.
Well,
Let's go grab a dirty one over there.
I
and
used
see
to
how bad
bring
it is.
clean rags down.
Yeah, I know. Then you stole them all.
Somebody kept putting them away.
I'm saving that one over there for Rick. It's still sitting there. That's not the dirty one. Look at still
It's got some clean plate.
clean my hands with that one. That's clean. Get the dirty one.
I'm not supposed to burp. Am I?
Yeah,
One time I was in here, I was
I'm
eating
gonna go home
chips
when I get drunk.
the whole time.
Here,
Eating a bag of chips, man.
there you go. There's the difference between semi-dirty and dirty.
And I'm thinking, I wonder if this is going to show up on the video.
Oh, I heard it all the time when I ate chips.
We've had comments about that already.
Oh, this is so much fun.
Okay,
Hey, how come
so-
you can't be famous like that guy in there that's making like millions
there you
of
go.
dollars?
See
Somebody's
that
got
spot
to
right
pitch it
there?
to the,
Yeah.
to
That's
the
bad.
producers. You know what I mean?
What
And
do you
that's
think
how all
caused
those other
that?
guys got famous. They
Yeah.
It probably
pitched
had a
them
rust spot
to
in
the,
the grill.
you know, the television people.
Or the grind. I think that's a grind mark. Look at that. Those look like grind marks.
Yep, slip of the hand.
See that? See
Yep.
over here? What are you filming over there?
I've got it right there.
There's a zoom function now.
So what are we going to do about that?
Well, even with the big rollers in there, it's going to hit that and it's not going to like it. But for now, all you can do is without
It ain't like he's
replacing it.
driving that damn thing cross country.
Without replacing this, you're going to have to just, live with it.
Well, no, like I said, we're only doing a precursory.
So, you know,
Evaluation.
I might know where there might be a brand new one, original Harley one,
Imagine
might
it's
know.
$1,000.
like NOS in a box still.
Yeah.
I might know where there's a couple of those, but you know,
Break open your wallet.
Fred's choking over there for some reason.
But getting them out of them might be another thing.
So here's a question. That guy said that the transmission was out of this. Somebody abused it enough to do what? Break the gears in the box? Or what,
don't know.
what would go wrong in that box?
All kinds of
Anybody could burn a clutch out.
See how
I
this
mean,
one's flaking right here?
Yeah.
Hear that? That's acid marks.
That's from sitting forever.
Yeah, that's acid marks, and then it gets worse when the balls go across.
Okay, but here again, we're only
Sorry,
talking
folks.
about 13 horsepower and 45 miles an hour. I mean, you know, come on.
Depends on the gearing.
Well,
It might only go
see,
25 miles
yeah,
an hour,
well, see,
but it
that's
might
a-
pull a fucking tractor.
You guys are cracking me up. Every time you make some joke, I gotta call it.
I mean, the cool
Yeah, but he's
thing
swearing
is
over
that
there.
it steers good, the frame's straight. I mean, all the good stuff. So, I mean, we already know it's going to be a rattly, you know, rattle, rattle, rattle.
Not if you had it fixed, but you know. Well, it's just like a pothole in the road. How long before it gets worse? It doesn't matter how fast you go. It's a matter of how many times you run across it.
Except when Tatro's driving it,
He leaps it,
he expeditiously
brings the front wheel
brings
up.
whatever the bad problem is to forefront.
If you go fast enough, you just go right over it. Somebody did that one.
Was that like when you were in Julian and you jumped the log and flew past some people?
They didn't have blacktop roads back in those days.
I think I'm being picked up.
Well, that would have all filled up with water if you went through a stream with that, wouldn't it?
Okay, I'm done taking these things off. See, with this tool, I don't even have to take the lock off.
It'll spin it off.
Look, it even goes on there like it's supposed to.
You mean you have a tool? That's
Where's the one
correct
to hold the
tool?
clutch basket?
Huh?
Where's the one to hold the clutch basket? Oh. I used to always take these and weld the thing on them and hold them up there.
You've been in these boxes before?
Yeah.
Have you?
He's actually owned a 45
Oh,
before.
I know you.
Is that even tight?
You've been in the.
How tight was that, Fred?
You've been riding
That
bikes
was,
for what, 50 years?
Whopping 8 psi.
I didn't
That's
even,
hard to get that
I didn't
kind
even
of
feel any drag at
experience.
all. And that was the lock tab was still on it on one side. Well, at least the nut's still good. It ain't chewed up yet.
Oh my goodness, we found something. that
Another
was good.
piece
Woo!
that's still good.
There's the other half of the push rod.
That's broken. Yeah.
It won't come out either.
Gonna have to drive it out the other side.
Is it broken?
Yes.
Doesn't have the thing on the
The
end.
bearing used to be over here and
Yeah.
it fell off.
Oh, that's not good.
See how that's tapered on this side?
Shouldn't go in that hole. Let's see.
Oh yeah, that fits in the hole.
I don't think they're supposed
I
to
don't
be
think
there.
I don't think there's. I think there's supposed to be a ball bearing in there.
No, they didn't use a ball.
They was flat, but that's an aftermarket.
But this one here looks like it probably was made this way. But there's no evidence it was like that because this whole thing had been chewed up if it was.
What was that, Alan? Shaking your head?
Ka-ching, ka-ching, ka-ching.
Kachinko machine.
It's better your money than mine.
No, but like Tatro said, either you want it or you don't.
That's it.
I understand that.
Well,
Living
it's
the
like
dream,
most of
man.
these things. They're experienced. See that pitting
That's
in
what
there?
my wife said. If you want it or you
And guess
don't.
where the ball bearings rub?
Right there.
Right
Chances
there
are you're not
and
going to
right
get
there.
it even if you do want it.
So
You
can,
gotta
you can
pay,
still
don't
see the
put it
marks
on.
from the original ball in the lines. Even though the rollers have been on there for a short time, you can still see the original roller marks. That's why those are bad if you use the balls because they run right across them and they go boom, 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 and they go away. Look at that area there. See how bad that one is? That's from all rust. See, that's what happens when you don't change your fluids frequently and don't let water in your machine. Hey, this came off.
Hey.
It looks like it had an issue.
Something.
It had a clearance issue.
Yeah.
Clearance.
All right, I'm gonna let you guys go. I'm going home.
Go
All
home.
right.
See you, Rick.
Take the Dodge and go.
Next time you get to bring the pizza you ate.
Okay.
Fred's getting jealous.
What's he jealous of? He's the only one of us that got anything at home.
Ooh, hey.
I didn't say anything.
All right, see you later.
It's still got oil in it.
What? You got oil in here. There's a oil pan right over there. Why don't you go grab it? Somebody was making a mess over there the other day.
Somebody was making a mess.
What, this tray?
Yeah, you can pick that cardboard up too if you want.
Did you manage to get those?
I don't think this is the correct size lock washer. What do you think, Fred?
Let's see. Could be
Want me to
smaller.
bring this little tray?
Looks pretty big size for that nut. But
Tatro, this little tray?
yeah, that's a big tray. I think it holds 4 quarts of oil.
Huh?
That holds 4 quarts of oil.
Where do you want to?
Did you clean it?
I did not.
You don't need to clean it. I'm going to put oil in it. This you know we don't care about. That's a one-handed tranny there, Fred.
One arm bandit in the case of some Alan.
I need a tranny one.
It's a one arm bandit
Yeah, we're trying to keep
taking all his money.
See, now I was going to put that right in the freezer. I thought,
That's what it is there, Alan. It's a one arm bandit.
WWTO. What would Tatro do? Oh, what is it?
Isn't it a WTF?
Yeah,
What
no.
the frick?
Are these government military slangs you're using here?
No, you've heard of that. What would
WTF?
Tatro do? WWTD.
That's bent.
Try to save the gasket.
What gasket?
How many new old stock transmissions do you have in the box?
None.
Were they at one time? They probably come as a whole unit, didn't they?
I never had any.
I'm just curious if they ever did.
I got one in a box I built
Uh-huh.
from kicker to clutch, all new. That was my life savings when I got out of high school, because I didn't go to college. It didn't matter. So I
You
went,
didn't go to college?
so I went and blew my money on I went to trade school. I went and blew my money on Harley parts. Still got it. Someday I'm going to use that.
Yeah. Okay. Along with, let's see, how many Roadrunners you got, and how many?
How many road runners?
Dots and 510s.
Super Bees,
How many Super Bees you got?
2.
How many of the other things you got?
All right. This is
Hey,
where
there's a
we're,
Studebaker on
got-
offer up, man.
I got 2 of
Okay.
those.
this is where we're really going to shine here, fellas.
Sell his Studi.
I don't want to sell my Studi.
No, somebody else wants to sell a Studi.
Here you go, sir. You can take
Studio
that,
Baker.
take that home with you and put it on your pillow,
I will.
and the ferry will give you something for it.
All right.
Unless you go to Hillcrest, then you get something else. They don't know what that means.
Yeah, I know. I know they don't know.
If they do know, oh well, too bad. Appears to still have all the teeth on it.
Can we see that? Can you get your fat fingers out of the way while you're spinning it around?
I'm watching my video. Well, you have to use a close-up button.
Every time I do close-up, you tell me I'm too close.
Put my hand in there.
There, look.
I'm looking at the wear on the teeth. See that rough-ass tooth right there?
I don't
That's
see
how
it.
they were made. When
Look at my
they're
teeth.
really smooth, that means they're worn
What
out.
do you mean, man? I got bad teeth.
Yeah, when they're
Actually,
really
I got good teeth.
when
I
they're
got
really
fake.
smooth, they're worn out. But when they're really rough like that, that's how they do. Because they have a rough ass. These are rough cob.
Which is good.
No, it should be a nice smooth finish. But Harley used rough ass cob cuts. He used a
He's
gear cob,
contradicting himself. It's,
so it's actually not the best. But that's how they make them. So when you see them really smooth, that means they got a lot of wear on them.
is that like Cogsworth's Cogs in the old
So-
Jetson movies?
I don't know. And I don't see the gear teeth being undercut, so that means they're not worn out.
Okay, I can't hold that right there that long.
You want the
Thumb's
stand?
not working. No, I'm good. Just don't know why Tatro's spinning around like, you know, a garbage.
I'm looking at every stinking tooth, that's why.
Oh, I see.
I'm supposed to be inspecting, I'm inspecting.
Said
Now
the
after you
line.
look at that direction, now you gotta turn the other way so you can see the other half, because I can't see this side, I just looked at all of this side. So now you take the transmission wheel 180 here, flip it up where you can see better. See how you can see better? But I can't see this side now. Now I look at all of these faces over here. Because one side is drive and one side is load. I don't know which side I was on. See how these are a little bit smoother? So I'm assuming this is drive side I'm looking at now. The other one must have been coast side. You should know that from your rear end pinion you just changed. See how smooth on that side it is? See how much in play you got in the transmission there?
A bit of end play.
That's supposed to be 3 to 5, right? Looks like 3 to 5. So roll gear's got some wear on it, but the other ones look pretty good. They're not eating out, so that's good. I have to go over here and look at this side because I couldn't see it from that other side. So we're just looking for anything that looks out of place.
That sounds like good news for you, Aaron.
Yeah, I'm just saying.
Gives them more money to spend on the clutch.
The other little extra junk.
Yeah, so the teeth all look like they're usable that I can see. Of course, if they were clean, it would be better. But
Okay, well,
now you gotta look at your gear dogs. I'm thinking the reverse gear is bad. See, the reverse gear is bad.
You don't have reverse gear.
That's why it's bad. It's not. There's no teeth on
You're
it.
sort of missing a reverse gear.
There's no teeth on it. So.
no, I see. Would that box
But
have been
there's-
interchangeable
But
with
see,
the
there's brand new teeth on that gear over there,
with
though.
the Cervicar?
See
Yeah.
that gear over there? There's brand new teeth
Sure.
over there. See,
Would
that
it-
side never got used.
Would that have been the same trans in the Cervicar for the reverse?
The transmissions are basically the same training.
That's what I was curious. So which makes it a good thing because they made these all the way
You
up
put the
to what?
reverse gear on that main shaft, and you put the reverse idler gear over here on that little counter shaft thing right down here. The idler shaft, that's the idler shaft hole right there.
Okay.
So you get a little small gear, which reverses the action, and that makes you reverse training. Then you take the shifting over here and you move it about 3 or 4 teeth, and then you get full stroke. Because right now low gear's bottomed out here, we have to go one more gear. So this one will only go up to about this far, whereas the trike goes all the way this far. So you can retime it, and it should have an R over here too for reverse. Now you gotta look at the dogs.
Dog it, man.
So see how the dogs are in there are nice and sharp and straight.
Mm-hmm.
See in there? So they look good. Now I can't see too well on the shift clutch whether the teeth are good or bad. There it is. See how it looks like it's sharp all the way down on the dog too.
Mm-hmm.
Barely see in there. It looks like it's a new parts. So my guess is they actually put some new parts in this thing. At least on that part.
Well, I'm guessing now maybe the trans was okay and it was the
Okay, now I
clutch
gotta-
that was junk in it.
Now I got a lot better view of the dogs on the high gear and the clutch. See how I moved the gear over and I can see in there better. So see how this gear is nice, good, sharp teeth. The dogs are down there on both pieces. So that's all new stuff.
Okay.
Now whether it's Harley parts or aftermarket, I don't know, but it's pretty new looking. Okay, so now we're in high gear. Now you look at the other shift clutch and see how it looks. It looks pretty sharp on that side too, because it was probably new on both sides when they made it.
No, it's used on one side and new on the other.
Sometimes they are that way. Now I have to look in here in second gear though. Now second gear on the other hand is not new. It's definitely worn a lot. Okay, so can you see in there with the red, right with the, on that dog in there? See how it's rounded way down in there? That's right, it's real shiny, it's bright, it's worn. See the dog down straight down in there? See that rounded part way down in there? That gear is well used. The dog is new, pretty new. See the mark on that right here, the dog? See right here, Helen? See how the dog right here is
Yeah.
relatively sharp, a little bit
Yeah, yeah.
rounded off? But the gear itself is a lot rounded off.
Oh, I see. Okay.
So second gear, it's probably all right now, but it will eventually get worse and it'll start popping out. For now, it's still good. It's just used. And the low gear, go over here and look at the low gear side. And low gear is rounded over too, but not as bad as second gear was. But it is rounded too. See the dog in there, Ellen?
Oh yeah.
See, it's rounded, but it's not as heavily rounded as the other.
Sure.
It's about half what the other one is.
Yeah.
So they didn't replace lower second or the shift dog for low gear. But they did put in, looks like a new high gear, which is a clutch gear, and a new 2-3 shift clutch has been replaced. So those parts are new. I don't know what condition the bearings and races and all that stuff are, but the transmission itself looks like it's usable.
Okay.
So you don't tear it apart anymore.
Doesn't warrant pulling it apart anymore, right?
No, I never said that.
Well, it's used.
Okay, now the in-play, you got to check the in-play. It's got in-play.
Yeah, it's a little bit of in-play. Not bad.
So it's got something, so that's a plus. So we have quite a bit on low and second. See, look at them, see them go back and forth now? They got about 30 thou in there, which is probably only about 20, but that's pretty loose. So they didn't set the in-play on that gear there. There's a wash that goes between low and second gear that shims those two apart. Now it might not even be in there. Can see how close those gears are to each other? They might not have put the washer in there because they didn't have the right one. So my guess is it's probably not even in there, as loose as that is. Otherwise, the plate down there, there's a little plate in the tranny that has a 90-degree edge on it. It sticks up like this, and the gear hits up against it. So that plate might be worn real heavy, but my guess is the washer's not in here. So they might have left this washer out. So that makes that gear not engage as far over here, which makes it round off.
I can see that.
So I would probably want to do something about getting some of that out of there. Yeah, it's just quite a bit of in-play. And then you can re-gasket it and make sure it doesn't leak. You can see if this nut's tight. We can see how good the seal is on the sprocket.
Where do you think that oil got into the clutch basket from? Is there a seal on the other side?
Right here.
Okay.
There's a push rod seal. Where's the push rod at? It's supposed to say right here, Alan. Yep, it's on there. See, there's nothing there, and then it gets hard. So.
All right, so
the seal's still working.
So talking business, rationally, if you're going to go all the way, what do you think to redo it? What kind of time? What kind of money? What do you think?
About 1.5 years.
Okay, well then we better gasket it and fill it back up then, because about a year.
Well, there's a line.
Well, no, I understand.
It appears this was not full tight.
Yeah, I noticed that.
That's your dipstick.
Yeah. So one thing about a 45, they didn't put a train on the tranny. They're self-draining when they blow up.
Really?
Yeah. There's
So
no
were
drain.
you just supposed to lean it over real far and let it run out, huh?
There's no drain.
No, there isn't.
They never put a drain on them.
That's kind of weird.
I don't know what you're
Can you
supposed
pull one of those plug screws out?
to.
And
You just knock the bike over, I guess, and it comes out the side. You just have to throw it on the ground, let it all drain out, and pick it back up.
Then refill it.
It's like a bicycle.
But in reality, those things were pretty bulletproof, weren't they?
I don't think I've ever changed the oil on my military bike, but maybe that's why the training's going bad. It's been 30-something years, so
pull that and you're gunning it and
I'm very careful.
burnouts. and
I only ride it on Sunday a quarter mile at a time.
yeah, as fast.
Yeah, it
as
really
you can
doesn't
go.
have very many actual miles on it.
No, it's not. Like I said, I only drive on Sundays, quarter mile at a time. Never gets really hot. Sure, it's perfectly fine.
All right, what's next?
Depends on what Alan wants to do.
You taking it apart, Alan? You're gonna leave it together.
I think I'm going to leave it together
All right.
because I'm not building the kind of bike there. I can see, and like you said, it's the time frame on it. I mean,
Well, Fred could probably smooth that up a little bit.
Fred.
No.
Who? Fred what?
Fred can take it apart.
I mean, the other Fred, the Fred up in Julian.
Fred and
You want to
Alan,
learn, Fred? You want to work on it?
Fred and Alan can do it.
I got my own damn 79 to tear
I
apart.
know. Well, what's the holdup?
You could have already had it apart already instead of screwing around.
Nice. Dump the oil where it's supposed to not be.
Okay, now see the metallic sparkles in there?
That's not good. It's kind of like the
What's that
transmission.
from?
I think it came from that tranny.
Yeah, I think you're probably right.
Those are El Chunko.
What are these?
That holds that retaining plate in there that sets the in play.
All right. Well, realistically, if it's gonna,
Now you see how there's no nut right here?
right?
See how that stud wants to fall out?
Uh-huh.
So that means the sprocket cover is not being held on very well. And that might mean there's a little bit of a leak right there. You're supposed to have your nuts on there and have them
You
tight.
gotta have nuts, man.
Isn't that
Some big
something?
old nuts.
Yeah, I don't know why they got that
Missing some
screwed in
nuts.
so far there. Usually not that deep, but maybe the spring is soft. I'm not sure how good the seal they got jammed in here is either. It's jammed in way further than it's supposed to be. But it is the original seal. See the number on it? It says hard as hell.
Hard as hell.
Yeah. I think National's what they have. The National seals, I think, what they are stock. I still use genuine Harley ones from World War II. They're nice and hard, but they work. My bike don't leak. There.
So what do you want to do, Alan?
Well, the only thing to do would be to keep taking it apart, and then I'll just have nothing but a pile full of parts.
Well, I got like 3 or 4 boxes like that. Back
Oh,
there.
I know you do, and yeah,
This is broken right here.
I
too.
saw that.
And I've got piles at the house too.
I know. What do you think they dropped that there to break?
Somebody
that?
put a hole in here to knock it apart. Probably got to rebuilt it. That's not supposed to be a hole there. That's a potential leak. Yeah. I need one of these out of my toolbox. Unless this one will work. Oh, that's all right. It's
Loose.
pretty tight, so we're okay.
Well, Tatro, what do you recommend?
I'm thinking everything on here is loose and got crap in it, so you should take it apart.
Clean it. I mean, the best case scenario, you're going to clean everything up.
Okay. I thought that's supposed to have a titty on it, and it appears to have no titty on it.
To hold that shaft in, no flat spot on the shaft.
Well, yeah,
right?
the shaft can fall out. It's just sitting right here. I'm thinking there's supposed to be something besides that in there. Probably gonna need a smaller punch though. Nope, that's the right size.
Is it?
Yeah.
Punch away.
Hold it, Tranny.
Are we having fun yet? My days are long now again, as it always does around 8 o'clock.
We haven't even got to the video we gotta do yet tonight.
Right. Do we have to do it tonight, or we do it tomorrow afternoon?
Gotta
or-
be in by
Well,
12 o'clock.
You weren't here all week, so.
Well, you know, I don't have to be the one doing the damn video, do
It's
I?
a-
Working you.
It's a special video we're supposed to do.
They called down. You're gonna stay
For special
overtime.
children and special people and
Yeah, it doesn't come out.
What do you think you're gonna have in your transmission, Fredo?
what do I
See that lip right there?
Yeah.
I had to get it off the edge in here. See how it catches on the edge right there?
Yeah.
See like that? And it has this thing called a spring right here. It's pushing it that way to make it not work. So I had to put it just right so I could pull it.
Nice.
it comes right
so
out.
special.
Now see how they got some exterior marks, the oiling grooves they added? See how they did that? So I'm not sure how they did that,
That's a detent thing, isn't
but
it?
there was something dragging pretty heavy in there that
Isn't that a detent to hold the ball, hold the barrel where it's supposed to be?
detents are over here. So I'm not sure what the hell they were doing there, but yeah, that's got some damage on that.
I gotta tell you though, it shifted okay. You can see in there a lot better now.
Yeah, roller looks good. That's good.
If I had my druthers, the only thing I'd like is that the casing all blasted real nice and clean.
It's supposed to be OD.
I know, but if we're taking it apart, it's going to be all nice and silvery.
You want natural aluminum?
Yeah, because it looks great that way.
No, they come in the box OD green.
Well, that could very well be.
But I do have a few boxes of natural finish ones too.
Didn't you just say you didn't have a transmission? Oh yeah, it's cases.
We're
You just
talking
never
cases. You didn't say anything about cases. I do have cases. I have stacks of cases.
Well, let's just change it all over.
I got natural, black, and OD.
Well, you should retain the OD and then put a
And
natural.
the black ones are OD underneath the black because back in the 70s you had to paint everything black to sell it because nobody wanted OD.
No, I love OD, man. I'm a CB man.
You couldn't give
do
that.
too.
You couldn't give that crap away.
CB love OD.
So this is a brand new fork, and see it's already getting eaten up in here. See, it's already got a groove on it. Some of that metal we were looking at.
Yeah?
You want to know where that metal was coming from. So evidently second gear was trying to stay out of second gear because probably it's worn and it's way over where it's not supposed to be. So it was getting kind of not happy in there. And these are aftermarket forks, they're not original.
Is this all available through where? V-Twin, Colony?
I don't know where you get original forks, but aftermarket ones are out there. And see, this one doesn't have as much wear on it, but it's still trying to get a little bit on it.
I think they set the spacing and timing correctly.
Got a little bit of clearance in the bushing there.
Clearance,
See the bushing down here.
Right.
See how loose it is? Well, that's okay.
That ain't too bad.
Alan doesn't want it perfect. We're okay.
That ain't too bad.
The ball still works.
That's not change worthy.
Now see the plate in there where the gears hit against? Right there. That's the thrust plate. That keeps the second gear from going this way. Because there's no snap rings on the shafts. See, that's that in play. There's another washer between main shaft and the clutch gear that sets the main shaft in play. It's two separate things.
Change hands.
Oh, it's broken. It locked up.
Got locked up.
Jeez, what happened? It locked up. Well, that means we're going to take the gear off now.
I think you take the spring off first.
Yeah, I can work around the spring. I need a nut or a socket up there.
What do you need?
I think they're like a 7/8 maybe. It's actually a buff finger. Pretty good.
I ain't it.
No, we're way too small. Somebody gave you the wrong dimension that you needed.
There's a 1 inch to the left of that.
I dropped them all on the floor. Must be 1 1/8 or 1
That's that one
16
right there.
or 1
shiny
16.
That one.
Probably 1 16 or some stupid size. No, ain't this one. That was 1 inch. Go bigger.
That's too big. Is it?
No, the lock is in the way. Yes, it's way big.
That's what I thought. Could have told you that.
Somebody did say something. I'm missing a couple sockets in the line.
Well, Rick
They're
was cheating
rearranged.
when he walked out.
They've been rearranged.
Yes, they have been. Well, that's another 1 incher.
Why do you keep picking up 1 inch?
Because I don't have anything between an inch and whatever that other one was. The 1 and 16th appears to be missing, Fred.
Okay, guys, I'm not feeling that well now.
Yes, this 1 1/8.
We have to change places there, Alan. Let you have
Fred, you gotta
your
hold that. Fred,
camera.
Fred's fading.
He's fading
Fading
fast.
fast.
Fading fast. All right.
So what did you do with my
past
1
on
and
that
16th socket there?
Come on, you got to make that movie.
Why? The damn box.
I don't know what to tell you. Tatro said.
Yep. It appears that Fred took my socket.
Get out of here, Fred, while the getting's good.
We gotta do that video yet.
Well, I'll be here tomorrow. We'll do it tomorrow.
That's what you said.
That's what you said last
yes,
time.
last
Well,
week.
I should be here tomorrow.
It's been a month already. They want their video.
I should be. I was being nice. I was being a good husband the last 2 months.
Yeah, all that kumbaya stuff.
How are we supposed to
Sucking
get this
that
off?
thing.
There's no hex on it. So what'd you do with that 1 1/16 socket, Fred?
Well, I know where I didn't put it.
You sure about that?
It's too large for.
It's probably one of these over here. Here's an 1 1/16 over here.
Oh, that ain't gonna work.
Maybe it will.
All right.
Maybe I have a socket.
Well, I have a socket. It's just missing.
No, it's a right turn. There's too much crap going there.
That's not a really good wrench here.
What did I just tell you?
You watching this?
Yes.
How are we gonna get this off?
You're gonna hit it with a hammer.
All right.
Did I just say that? You're gonna hit it with a hammer again.
I don't think it worked.
It came off quicker than
Well, it's not staying here because the tool's not made right. I think that time it
A
worked.
little bit of shock.
Shock it off!
That's what they call
Well,
it.
see how they made this nice big chamfer here?
Yeah,
That makes it come right off the nut.
gotcha.
go home and rest.
So you have to grind his way down to get clean material. Now we can do this because we're jammed in gear right now.
Okay.
Jamming in gear, man.
Otherwise we wouldn't be able to get it done.
Jamming away.
So you got to find my 1 1/16 socket you stole.
I probably got a dozen of them laying around the
I'll
house.
bring one over, Gassman. 6-point preferred.
Of course. They don't do anything. They don't do that freaking cheese ass 12-point crap.
How do you get this off?
Puller?
Huh?
Puller? Ah.
Big freaking
Taper.
hammer.
Puller.
Taper. Okay, taper fit.
Make sure you do it in front of customers so they know how you do it.
Does that look good?
This looks like this looks like it's got a.
Get out of here, Fred, and bring that creeping pestilence in here.
I'll see you guys later.
All right.
See, he's trying to infect me with some kind of.
Well, if he didn't, you're lucky. Thanks for the pizza, Fred.
Okay, see how the tooth here is nice and round? See, nice and smooth?
Yeah?
See how over here it's got a big chunk in it?
Yeah?
Guess what that chunk mark is?
I don't know.
That would be called a wear spot.
Oh.
And when you look at it from an angle,
Why
you can
would
see
it wear funny like that?
Because the drive is on this side.
Oh, I see.
You don't, unless you run backwards. then
I
it'd be
see.
The other way.
Yeah.
So this like new sprocket you want to use is used quite a bit.
All right. Well, we knew that. We figured that.
And right now they're still available on Dixie because all that stuff on his eBay right now because Dixie sold all that stuff at auction for nothing.
Okay.
So you can buy these on eBay for like $20 now
Okay.
or less. I would recommend getting a new one.
Okay.
And it will come with a new seal too. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. It is a 17 tooth. That's the stock size. So I'd recommend getting a new one of those. You see how loose that key is in there?
Mm-hmm.
Pretty loose.
That's not good. Well, it's used. I mean, I don't know what to say. What do you think? What's your feeling on this?
I think it's used.
Well, I know, but how much new are we going to go?
Well, I'm not putting a whole new bike together.
No.
Trying it together.
I know that.
Maybe you should fix the stuff that's bad.
All right. Well, then that's what we're going to do.
I think I'd replace this with the correct part. Now see,
Okay.
that still isn't turning even though these are coming off. So we've got the double jam nut those. Yeah, do that.
Yeah.
Both to turn. They got some super snot on that thing.
How did I know that thing was going to be a bucket of worms?
Why would it be a bucket of worms? It's just used. It's rebuilt.
Do you think somebody'd been in there?
How many miles are on this thing?
I have no clue.
We're gonna keep that, aren't we?
Yeah, toss it as far as you can throw it.
Well, how much wear is on that fork
Well, that's what I'm saying. You guess somebody'd been in there, huh?
recently?
Okay. Well, I'm just trying to correlate what the guy said to me, that's all. He said he rode this thing in a lot of parades. He didn't ride it anywhere because the carburetor wouldn't even start the bike. So, I mean, he didn't even have the right carburetor.
Is that a problem?
Well, of course, unless you want it to start. But we fixed all that now.
Oh, that was tight. How tight is that?
Not very. I can't speak for it, Tatro.
How much was that one? Let's make sure there's threads there. Yeah,
Breathe.
there is threads there. Okay, it's not stripped. Okay.
It's just, okay, it's just not
It
tight.
had that real high torque.
Would you put that on with a impact?
Yes, that's how I do it.
I was going to say, because they didn't obviously do that.
Well, the gasket might have gave. You never know. But that one gave a lot more than the other ones. I can still see the red Loctite on that nut. That's why it was so hard to get an out or bolt. Excuse me. Used the wrong phrasing there. We do have the adjuster, don't we?
Yes, we do.
Good.
I don't know if the threads are good in it or not, in that piece there.
Well, we still got to find that sprocket cover. Or I got to find you a little late arm. One of the two. I might have a late arm at home. I gotta look. Can't remember if I bought one or not. I won that other early one too.
Did you?
Yeah. Cost, but I got it. Yeah, the 100 and with the shipping probably just under 130 for that clutch logo.
You wanted it?
I bid for it. I must have wanted it.
I'm just asking.
Okay, what do we got to do next?
Imagine if you pop that off there.
How you gonna pop it off?
Is there an ear on there where you can tap on the back of
Maybe
it?
we should take the nut off the other side.
You could do that.
Oh, okay.
But it should come out this way, shouldn't it?
Not until you take the nut off.
Oh, okay, I get you. I see what you're saying.
See, that one's loose. And this one is not. If you try to beat them out and it won't come, pull the nuts off. See, it has a shoulder on it.
I see that. Mm-hmm.
That means you ain't getting that cover off until you pull that off, because the shoulder's in the way. So don't forget to take the nut off. It's important. And how much torque is on that nut?
I'm guessing it's loose.
Nope,
Maybe not. The only thing that's holding it together.
Yeah, they actually can torque that. Burr on it. Look how used that nut is. I'll round it over.
Mm-hmm.
That was probably on the outside and they put it on the inside.
Because they didn't have them. Well, from what the guy said, these were in
See how
the...
the chain likes to eat these up?
Oh, yeah.
Cullen reproduces these now. I used to have to weld these up and remachine them and make them from scratch.
Oh, wow.
That was fun. It's a lot easier nowadays. They actually make parts for these things now. This is all... I don't recall that being all chewed up like
Kicked
that.
up.
Stuck. It doesn't hurt anything, but... Okay, how do you want to get this off now?
I'm guessing tap on that ear.
This ear right here?
Mhm. No, that's
Big
the...
ass hammer?
No, that's the
This
base.
ear right here?
No,
Oh.
that's all part of the main casting.
What ear do you want to hit
I
on?
imagine right there where the bolts were.
Right here?
Yeah, somewhere
That
there's a
ear?
spot. No, that's the main casting.
Oh.
Be careful now, don't go breaking anything off.
Why not?
I know a guy that welds though.
Well, if I break it, I do it right in front of the customer so he knows.
Ah, that's okay. Got no worries with me.
Okay, now is this bolt tight?
I didn't have a whole lot here to get started on.
Bolt actually seems tight.
But the saving grace was there were a lot of good parts on this bike.
We have this tool right here.
Yep, I like it.
We have this tool right here because it's going to hit on a machine surface.
Okay. Look at that.
How much did I do that?
Just a quick tap. How do the threads look like on those adjustment bolts
Well,
on the
if
bottom?
if I use this one right here.
No, on the
they won't
bottom,
look too
on
good.
the,
But these ones down here,
Yeah.
they look good.
okay.
I see
Because
they're
I could
still-
see if those were loose and rattling and rattling and rattling, there'd be nothing
Well,
left
they
of
look
them.
all right.
Okay.
See those threads right there?
Yes.
They're supposed to be in the case.
Uh-oh. Well, it looks like a helicoil in there too, doesn't it?
No, they just pull all the threads out.
We just did that?
I don't know. This is stuck to this.
Well, no, I know.
I don't know if they had threads on it.
It was the
before.
wrong bolt anyways, yeah.
No, it's the correct one. It's just I don't know what they did to it. It's a stud. It's not supposed to be that. And it is correct in that spot. Now this is supposed to slide right up. There we go. There's the bearings. Bushing looks all right. Washer comes out. See, it's supposed to just slide right through, but it's full of muck. It looks like it's full of dirt, not aluminum. There's definitely issues with those threads. I'm thinking the threads are already missing. Leave it out, those are threads and not goo. It looks like goo, not thread. So I would get a new stud kit. This one's not, I don't know what this one is. That one's bad, these two are bad. So I just get a new stud kit. Colony makes all those. There's a gasket, we can reuse that, because you want to reuse those gaskets.
I didn't say I was going to reuse
Now
it.
here's where that idler gear goes, see how it would work?
Yes,
So
I like that.
we go through here, that's how they work. See how the end of this main shaft's broken off?
Yeah,
It's because somebody beat it with a big hammer.
they didn't hit it straight even at that.
Oh, is that what it was?
But you know what? The
They didn't do it like I did it, huh?
the gears are all okay.
Well, they looked all right together, but to get apart will look. Now you gotta look in here at the bearing area and make sure this is nice and smooth and not chewed up like everything else. It appears to be pretty nice looking. Except right there. See the acid etch mark in there?
Mhm. Yeah.
A couple of them in there. So those will start flaking out at some point if you don't replace it. But it's probably usable enough for a while. Depends on the condition of the rest of the tranny. I usually like using light condition parts for light pieces. That's supposed to just slide right off, but it's not. See, they didn't have enough end play on the shaft originally, so it's all seized up there.
Mushroom down, yeah.
Yeah. There, I just undid it. So now you can see how rounded this gear is, the dog. Not too bad, but it is used, but not too bad. Now this is the hard part to get, at least original. Okay, see how this is all majorly chewed up looking? Feel that?
Yes, I can see.
It's not a good sign. So something came apart in here and ate the piss out of that. So this is probably what failed. It probably broke a low gear. Actually, that's not low gear, that is reverse gear. don't know why that'd be bad there, but you can see the marks on it. Now it carries over into the bearing area a little bit, but you see how they were sanding on to clean it up?
Mm-hmm.
So if the bearings are into the bad area, then the shaft's bad. If the bearings are in the clean area over here, then we're okay. But it looks like it overlaps it a little bit to me. It just depends on how far these things go across, but it should be about that far. See, it's into the bad area.
Mm-hmm.
So this metal here will start flaking on the edge, and then it'll flake across and take the whole shaft out. But see, that's back to those light components again. So if this bearing race is a little bit bad and this is a little bit bad, and the bearings are new, it'll live for a while.
Okay.
And you can save lots of money. If you put a reproduction shaft in, these things are only like 50 or 60 on eBay. But if you have to buy a genuine Harley one, I get outbid at 200, so good luck on finding one. So that's your low gear. They did have the second gear washer in here. See, that's a second gear washer right there. It's being held in with the oil. So it did have the washer in there. It's definitely not thick enough though. See, lots of washers. Every gear has washers on it to protect it. It's not going to come off without getting rid of the oil. Okay, so here's the dogs in here. See how rounded off it is?
Yeah.
It's not super bad, but you can see how I was rubbing on it a lot. See all these rub marks?
Mm-hmm.
So that dog here was set up wrong. He was always rubbing against this thing all the time. That's why it's all polished.
Right.
And it wasn't this one. It was probably one they had
Not
on it
supposed to
before.
do that.
Well, it might be this one. No, this one is. It's this one. See how polished these are?
Mm-hmm.
See how shiny it is?
Mm-hmm.
Matches that. So this was dragging against this. Pretty heavy. See how there's no drag marks on this side?
Mm-hmm.
So they might have had this set up with this is too far this way.
Right.
So it was always hitting against it. Because this thing had a lot of in play. It could have been bouncing into it while it was not in that gear. So maybe that's where the problem was. You don't know. But that's evidence of something wrong. And we also have the a lot of wear on that fork, remember?
Right.
So something was going on there, but the stuff is still usable. It's not.
Okay, so what are you thinking?
Sure.
Bearings, cleaning up a little bit?
The bearings might be new. I don't know. We have to check for sizes. Right now, the bearings are getting mixed up a little bit. See these rollers, and there's 3 different places. There's 4 places for rollers. 3 of them are 2 of the rollers are the same. The main shaft and this side of the cluster gear are the same size. The clutch gear and this one are different. So if you mix up the rollers between this side and this side over here, you can, if these are different, you would mix them up. So you got to keep them separated. Or just measure them later. I'll just measure them later. I don't care. So these look. This gear looks okay. This is the military gear. See how it's got the windows all the way through. The later gears, they were closed up on the one side to make them stronger. I actually have this style on my military bike. I'm shocked I haven't broke it yet. Because I've been trying for years to break
I
it.
know you have.
But I'll guarantee you that these are rounded out heavily, and these are completely rounded off
On your bike.
on this one, because that's the problem is hitting.
Yeah.
It's power shifting into the. Actually, it's not that. It's my second I got all right. It's just it's going into high gear. I can't shift fast. So this is all the second gear is still good. This high gear is completely rounded off. They can't power shift into higher anymore. I can only power shift in the second gear. Now see how the bearings on the clutch here keeps this gear from coming out?
Yes.
So you leave this gear in. You got the rollers are falling out though.
Mm-hmm.
Or you got to keep the rollers in there and you pull that out, the big ball bearings. Then this will come out. Either way it'll come out. You just have to, it's a matter of which way you go. Now this here actually looks pretty good. I think this was a new part. You know, see how there's no wear on it? So this was a new piece. So you have a ball bearing over here. You want to make sure the bearing area in here is not pitted out. This one appears to be good. And you got all your rollers over here. That is not supposed to be in there. It's an O-ring. So what the hell are they doing with an O-ring? There's no reason for an O-ring. Is that a spring? Oh, that's a spring. Okay, that is the spring off of the seal. So when they put the transmission together, they screwed up. They popped this
seal.
They popped this off the seal.
And that's why it had oil in the clutch.
Maybe. Except that would leak. That'd probably leak more in the ground than inside the primary. But where's the? Yeah, it'd probably just go right to the ground. I don't know if it'd actually go into the clutch. It might, but it'll just leak down the primary and go out. It's just a push rod that does the leakage. So here's your push rod seal. It's a piece of rubber.
You just found that in there?
See, that's your seal.
Yeah.
Yeah, it goes against the man shaft.
Right.
Push it against here.
I see.
That's what the spring in the gear over here is for.
I see.
There's a spring in here. It's spring loaded.
Gotcha.
See
I see.
See that spring loaded?
Yeah.
That's without the seal in there. Now when you put the seal in there, you have that much pressure on it.
I see.
All the time. So this keeps the oil from coming down the main shaft, and then this keeps it coming down the push rod.
I gotcha.
That's what seals it. So you get, this does two things. That's why it helps to have the correct seals. You have aftermarket stuff that's not made right, you got other issues. So you don't have to replace all these other parts, you only have to replace the seal. These are all steel parts.
Right.
Unless they get all chewed up, they don't wear. They're not supposed to wear, but I've seen them chewed up, but they're not supposed to be. Now to get this gear out of here, you can't just pull it straight out. You have to pull it out, move it over, and slide it out. So if you had the clutch gear in here, you'd have to move it out far enough to clear the clutch gear, and then come back over. And then once you're out here, then you have to slide it over. And right now the kicker gear is in here. There you go. You have to put this here between this area.
Oh, yeah.
To get it in and out. Because the kicker gear is still up in there right now.
I see.
The kicker gear has a spring on it. And there's two tapered screws in the catch in here. So you compress it and rotate it 90 degrees, and that's what holds this in. And I always like putting these in the case before I put the main shaft in.
God damn, there's a lot of parts in that thing.
And this is pretty good too, so it's probably new.
Huh.
Yeah, but they're just got to put them back, no big deal. And here's a spring on the counter shaft
Well,
that keeps the counter shaft from bouncing around.
It would be a little overwhelming for somebody that
You
didn't
gotta
know.
make sure you put that back where it belongs. So here's all your rollers. Now this is not an original seal, it's a double lip seal. So this is not original.
And that's where the spring came out of.
Yeah, it's a later seal, but you know, it's rebuilt tranny, so they put a modern seal on it. So you see that one in there? Now you see how this has no drag on it?
So it's not wiping any oil.
It's not doing anything. That's because the spring wasn't on there and it just wore itself out and stayed out.
Right.
So that was a big oil leak there. Like I said, whether that got into the clutch, I don't know, because it would run down here.
Yeah, and then out. Well, it leaked huge amounts of oil.
Well, you can see it's all wet from here to here.
Yeah.
which
Oh, it
would
was.
be.
The guy had a pan underneath it. It was
But
just.
I don't know how much it was would actually get into the clutch. It might not. I don't know. But that seal's bad, and it got bad because when they put the gear in there, they knocked the spring off right from the get-go. It's just not right. Now, see the metal in the bottom of the case?
Oh, yeah.
See all over here is all metal,
Yeah.
metal.
Yeah, laying down in the recesses.
You ever seen a coarse lapping compound?
Yeah, there it is right there. Yeah, sure.
Now, how
Well,
many transmissions is that from? I don't know.
Yeah, well, yeah, right. Well, sure.
I know it has at least one. I don't know if they cleaned that out before or not. I assume they did, which means this is all fresh metal. But where's all this fresh metal coming from? I don't see that much wear on the parts right now. Okay, now you got some more stuff over here. So these are the extra thick washers.
Boy, there's more bearings in there.
This is your counter shaft. There's two bearing areas, one here, one over here. You want to make sure those are good. Here's the rollers. See how long those are? And there's another big fat washer behind here. There's the second one. There's two of them, the same washer. They're the same ones. They're not adjustable because it doesn't matter. But they do have to be in there. Now this roller here is the same as the one that goes on the main shaft. And this washer's stuck in here. It should come out. See, these are the same ones as these ones.
Mm-hmm.
These ones obviously are different. See how long they are and skinny?
Yes.
And then the high gear, this one here is a skinny one like this one, but it's in between.
Gotcha.
Actually, that looks like the same one as that, but it's different. It's a different size, but they're the same length. See, this one's smaller, but it's not as small as the other one. It's in between. But like I said, this one, I mean, the left side cluster and the main shaft are the same. Now that washer is supposed to just come right up, but it's not. It doesn't want to come up.
So I'm lost here. Where do you start?
So you start what?
Except clean everything up
You clean everything up so you can see how bad it is.
and then make a list of all the stuff you need.
And then you make a decision how good you want to make it. My hands are a little dirty.
Here.
This washer's supposed to just come up and it's not, see? That means you gotta flip it over and what do we got here? One more washer. That one's not small enough.
Jammed in there.
Yeah, well, I got the problem is there's another washer on top. Pop finally? It popped. So this washer here, which is supposed to be just a slip in, was stuck in there for some reason. So usually what I do is I grind these down to make sure they
Slit just drop
slide in
in.
like they're supposed to. I don't know if this one got war marks on it that made it do that, or if it was just made too big factory. And there's one more in and one in here. So there's always a washer on both sides of everything. So on both sides of your rollers you have washers to protect.
Just to keep them in.
To protect things.
Right.
This is just a machine surface in there. That's not a spot for a roller to go.
Gotcha.
But you can put together and leave those washers out, but it wouldn't be best.
That's the kicker gear goes in that conical place, right?
This is the kicker
Yeah.
gear here, and this is the kicker gear here.
Mm-hmm.
And that little spring we got is what holds it together. That's it. So when these get worn out and they pop out of gear, it's because this spring here doesn't have enough tension to keep it
Right, to
engaged.
keep it down in there.
Because
Boy, that's
the sharp edges go away and then they turn into instead of a
Are
something
those
catch
sharp?
fence. Yeah, this is all new stuff.
Okay.
This cluster gear looks like it was pretty new.
So you think that's all aftermarket stuff?
It depends on where they got the parts from. It could be genuine.
No, well, how could they wouldn't be genuine? I wouldn't think.
But you can still buy genuine gears now. They're up on eBay every now and then. Every year I see about 2 or 3 of them. Stuff's still out there. You know, military has lots of parts floating around. They believe in buying lots of spending money when they
Yeah,
build
they
stuff.
do when they're building something.
So they buy brand new stuff and then pack it away for a lot of years. See, they're making it for generations ahead. They're helping us
Mm-hmm.
out. So, anyway, what I see right now is that we have some problem with that. The main shaft is the worst part right now. It's got a lot of issues right over here, which are not good. The bearing race has got, it's starting to go a little bit. And then, what was that first part we looked at we didn't like? I already forgot. The shift fork's getting a little wear on it, but that's okay. I don't know how bad this is. It's probably okay because it looks like it's all been recently worked on it. But so
How do you think that big chip got broken off of there? Dropped it or something, huh?
yeah, somebody was being a dumbass.
Beating on it or something. All right, well there
Maybe
it is. It's
they might
apart.
have put a big puller on there or something. Who knows? There's no reason to break it there. It doesn't do anything, but oh well. All right. Well, that's the other problem. The basket and the hub are starting to wear.
Okay.
That's your big money stuff. But, all right, we'll get this cleaned up.
All right.
Back.